it was a really rough time after I got my degree. It was really humbling. It was really sad because, like, I was really like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really just went and got this
Mm-hmm.
degree. But I got really, really, really lucky. Like, I had to work my butt off. And they even tell me, like, they even joke to other people. They were like, he just stuck around until we just let him stay. Not to mention, Georgia has one of the biggest tax incentives for film. I don't know if you've ever seen a film with the Georgia peach at the end of it, but you can get 20 to
Yeah.
30% on each dollar returned to you by the IRS if you spend over $500,000 and you film it in rural Georgia, which is huge. In South Georgia Studios is going to be 100-acre sound stages and backlots that's going to be built in Quitman, which is a very small city, like I said, 30 minutes from Valdosta. And so we're really pumped about those jobs and stuff like that, and the Georgia Film Academy partnering with us. Don't do something for money because it's going to come down to your passion. And if you can't do it for you and your passion, then it's not going to work.
What's up, everyone? My name is Václav Černošek and I'm the founder of BlueLens Production. In this episode, I talked with Fresco. We discussed how was it for him and what was his story of finding a job after graduating from college last year in May. Then we got to talk about his current job. He shared with me some interesting information, and one of them was about the film studios that are being built in South Georgia. I hope you will like this episode and enjoy it. It's been a little bit while since we talk actually in person because you graduated already in May. So
Yeah.
for right now, I wanna look what you have been doing since May. If you want me to a little bit catch up, and at the beginning, if you wanna introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself for the people that might not know you and never met you in their life.
For sure, man. So yeah, it's actually coming up on a year since we graduated. But my name is Hisham Hakel. I'm a South Georgia native. I'm a second generation Egyptian immigrant. I just graduated with my Bachelor in Fine Arts for Mass Media and Communications from VSU. I have a passion for filmmaking and content creation and just sharing positive vibes and stuff like that. So I definitely enjoy stuff like audio, script writing, screenwriting, storytelling, Foley sound, voiceover. I also do a little bit of acting and talent work. So right now, currently, I'm working at a local film office in Quitman known as Philanthro Films, and it's a nonprofit film office that's sister companies with a production studio that came down from California. And we're basically building the workforce and attracting film and entertainment workforce to South Georgia because there's like $4.4 billion of revenue in the entertainment business that's made in Georgia, but 90% of it is in North Georgia. So we're working on that, and I'm the community outreach director through Philanthro Films, and they also have a coffee shop that they own, which I'm the assistant manager of, Real Coffee. And this is all possible through a government grant known as AmeriCorps. And basically what that is a government grant created by Bill Clinton to fight poverty. And the way that they do that is they fund different nonprofits, and Quitman being very impoverished. Our mission is to, combat that by showing people that the entertainment industry is a place where you can get a good job and it's something decent you can do. And we actually recently partnered with the Georgia Film Academy, which is a huge film academy in North Georgia. It's like a one-of-one academy compared to other states, and they just signed the deal on partnering with technical schools and universities, so students will be able to take a 3-semester course and be certified to work on a paid union set or learn about as much as we did in our production classes in the 4 years that we took it. They would be certified in 3 months. So that's huge. But less about that and a little bit more about what you asked me. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Like I said, I grew up here in Valdosta. I really just love media as a whole. I found my passion for it in high school, making the school news. And I've always liked making content and stuff like that as a kid, making silly videos and whatnot. But yeah, I've come a long way. It's been a crazy ride, but I can say that I've truly enjoyed media and stuff like this because it's a really passionate art, but it's also one of the funnest careers that you can have. But it's not easy, but it is really fun compared to the average career.
Can you tell me a little bit now, during the time when you were graduating college, while you were looking for a job, and after you graduated college, when you actually found a job, the job that you are doing right now, how hard was it? How difficult was it for you to find the job in the area where you are? And actually, I'm sure you were looking for sure for a job that would be in the field that you study in the college.
Right.
So
Right.
how difficult was it for you, and how were you able to get this job?
So I was definitely lucky. I was definitely lucky. It was not easy. It was definitely like a movie type experience. It was really humbling experience, actually, to be honest with you, because the summer I had, summer after college, like because
Yeah.
I was working, so I was working a jewelry job. I was selling jewelry the last 6 months of college, right? And I was making decent money,
Hmm.
like the most money I had ever made. And I was working like every week, like on the weekends, and I would go to class every day of the week. And that was when we were doing capstone, so we were doing all kinds of filming and all this other crap. So I decided to take a break from the jewelry stuff. And so as I was finishing my capstone, I finished it and I went back to my boss, and he actually is an alumni of mass media, so he's done the same thing, so
Oh,
he
bro.
understood. Yeah, but he kind of gave me like he kind of gave me a cold shoulder for whatever
Hmm.
reason, but it's okay, and I wasn't able to go get that job back, and that kind of caught me off guard. And so I was like, well, what am I gonna do? So then I tried to go back to like one of my other jobs that I worked at for over 2 years, which is like being a barista, and they were full already. They just weren't hiring. And I went and sat and talked with them too. Like I was trying everything. Like everything just wasn't working. Like nothing, like
Yeah.
even the simplest things like wasn't working. Like I just, you know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of work experience. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a pretty good resume. Like I'm not trying to
Yeah.
brag, but like I've worked a lot of different jobs. So, but Valdosta is weird at a certain time too. Like sometimes it's just not easy to get a job. But
Hmm.
that's what I'm saying. Like I was really like scraping by, like until like, and that's what happened is then not only was I scraping by, was when I was on this hunt, I was like, I gotta find something. I found this studio, Philanthro Films equipment, and I read about it, went to their website and saw all this stuff. And then I drove over there. I went and gave them my resume, and I went and talked to them, and I met them, and they're really sweet people. Like, excuse me, I really love them. So yeah, I had to keep going up there, but that's a 30-minute drive both ways for me. It's like 30,
Oh,
40-minute
that's
drives.
not bad.
It's not bad, but it adds up. It adds up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, every day for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was that was at that time when I was doing it for free, because that was
Oh,
that was
okay.
yeah, that was in the summer. I was like volunteering for them. They had like a summer
Okay.
camp, and I was trying to
Hmm.
like make myself relevant, because this is a new nonprofit, and it's so new that like the only way that they can pay me and my coworkers is through that government grant I told you about.
Makes sense.
So they're still like developing. So like they didn't have a spot to pay me necessarily until they got this grant, which was like, so I was doing the volunteering in the summer. I
Yeah.
did a whole film camp. The grant didn't get accepted till like September, and then they were taking applicants till September. So from that time, I was like just either volunteering or out of a job. You know what I'm saying? And I was going up there pretty often, but there was a point where I had to stop actually. But there was a guy that was working with them, that he had like a marketing firm in Valdosta, and he contracted me onto this one job. And I did like 15 to 20 hours of pre-production, and we did like six
Hmm.
hours of filming, and he paid me for the 6 hours of filming $20 an hour, which was 120 bucks. And
Oh my.
that's like an all right paycheck. But I was pretty upset because the budget for the whole thing was like $2,000 or something. But I didn't
Yeah.
really get as much as I thought. Anyways, the point is, it was a really rough time after I got my degree. It was really humbling. It was really sad, because like I was really like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really just went and got this
Hmm.
degree, and I can't find a job. And there's not really too many jobs around here, other than like there's like the news stations like Cameron went to. There's the radio Black Crow Media. Then there's a few
Oh,
other
yeah.
things. But I got really, really, really lucky. Like I had to work my butt off. And they even tell me, like, they even joke to other people. They were like, he just stuck around until we just let him stay. Like, and so they got the grant, and I actually had finally got a job at my homie. He's a general manager of Little Caesars. So I was making pizza for a little bit, but then I got accepted for the job, and it's a government job because it's government funded, kind of. So it's like they're kind of really weird about certain things. But I got the job, started October 23rd, and yeah, I got my first paycheck November 11th. It was pretty cool. I've been doing a lot of really cool stuff that I love. It's honestly been like really cool. I've been on a few movie sets and stuff. So it was really rough though. It was really rough. I can say that for sure. It definitely wasn't what I expected, but looking back on it, like I'm glad I made it through, and I don't even know what this summer has to hold, because it's been crazy.
But good that you stick with them. and that you kept going there, and they saw that you're passionate
Yeah,
about it, so they
for
saw that
sure.
you're gonna keep going there after even they hire you.
For sure, yeah, and they like me. They like me. I've enjoyed doing stuff. I've done a few videos with them, and I've done some stuff where I've acted for them, and they really like that stuff. But it's really cool because
So
it's also like, is it good for me though? But I've seen like the positive impact that it has on Quitman because Quitman's a really small town, and something
mhm.
like a revival, like it's like the heart of the town. You know what I'm saying? So people,
Yeah.
there's a lot of doubters. There's a lot of people that doubt it, but there's like the people that do see what's going on. Like they really like it's really beautiful, honestly.
So can you tell
But
me a
yeah.
little bit about the projects that you have done with them? Like, is it usually like what kind of projects are you working
So
on
we've
right
done a
now?
few different projects. We've done a few different projects. They're doing a documentary called The Breach, and I think it's a documentary about the Christian family unit, like the home family unit, and it's like a partial documentary, but it's also like a partial narrative. So
Mhm.
we got to go out to Madison, Florida, and Kinderloo. We got to film in these beautiful houses, film these little interviews. Excuse me one second. Yeah, so I know we're doing that one, but my boss specifically, you could probably look her up sometime. She wrote a book called Northern Lights, and it's about like her husband played in the NFL, and
Okay.
all her kids played football, and she's seen these kids in Alaska that were playing on like this frozen gravel field. So like she fundraised all this money and like built a giant turf field in Alaska for this high school. And like they wrote this whole story about it, and it's like a football story. So she was like featured on ESPN and stuff, and this was like 7 years ago. But they're planning to make the movie, and the movie just has been postponed by the strikes and all this other stuff. So that's one really big project that like I hope to be included on in the future because I think
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be like one of the biggest projects that has ever happened in South Georgia. But yeah, so there's always stuff coming in. We've done smaller projects too. Like we had a big roadshow event where it was like a big gala type event where we did the ribbon cutting for that partnership with Georgia Film Academy that I told you about. We did like a mini
Yes.
short film for them to watch. That was really cool. We do small stuff all the time. Like we do small promotional stuff. We haven't like the content creation has kind of been slacking lately. And that's the thing is like we have a team of 5 of us from the it's called the AmeriCorps Vista. So it's volunteering in service to America is what it stands for. And so there's a team of 5 of us. We have a grant writer, a community outreach director, which is me. We have a marketing director. We have an education coordinator and a development coordinator. So that's 5 of us. So we as a team do a lot of what goes on. Not all of it, but we do a lot of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of the projects we work on. And not all the projects that we work on are film related or have to
Mm-hmm.
do with an actual film set. Like we built like an entire coffee shop from the ground up. Like there was I don't know if you've heard of Good Coffee, but Good Coffee had a
Yeah.
location. Yeah, they had a location equipment, and and we were letting them use it. But they left to focus on a different location. So we started November 28th, and I think we've made like $25,000 total from the coffee shop revenue though. That's revenue. That's not after taxes or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But we have a nice coffee shop. We have a couple that runs out of our kitchen that does their own little restaurant. They have lunch and breakfast. Then we have another nonprofit on the other side that's like a bookstore. So it's like a bookstore, coffee shop, little mini lunch
Wow,
place.
nice.
People come chill, people come do their work. We have little office desk spaces for people. It's really cool. We really love when people come take tours. So people are, whoever's seeing this, welcome to come take a tour. We love to see you. It's a really beautiful place because it's a historic building. So it's like awesome for filming. We've had some really cool shoots done up there. It's called Philanthro Films. It's a weird name, but it's like Philanthro Films. So it's like half philanthropy, half films. And we have a sister company known as Cinevantage. And we have a bunch of stuff going on. We have real coffee, Cinevantage, Philanthro Films. And then all of that together is really South Georgia Studios. And South Georgia Studios is going to be 100-acre sound stages and backlots that's going to be built in Quitman, which is a very small city, like I said, 30 minutes from Valdosta. And so we're really pumped about those jobs and stuff like that, and the Georgia Film Academy partnering with us.
My question is was about the studios that they are building there. I
Yeah,
saw that they had like the whole event in Valdosta. You attended it, right? Where they
right,
like
right.
talk about everything. So can you tell me more information about that? Like, what do you think it's gonna bring to South Georgia, and what are they telling it's gonna be like, and how do you feel about the whole situation about that?
So it's huge, dude. It's crazy. Honestly, like every time I tell someone, it's honestly so mind-boggling that I can't even tell you all of it. You have to
Mm-hmm.
see it for yourself to believe it, honestly. Because like one of Miss Honey Korngold, she's the CEO of Cinevantage. That's the sister company coming down or that came down here. She said it's like to the people down here, a lot of the Southern people, this isn't very familiar to them. So it's like telling them you're landing a spaceship on Mars. Like when you tell them, it's kind of like they're really like, it sounds far fetched, but they're actually like, are you really gonna do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that actually
Yeah.
like is it actually gonna be a studio here? You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see that and to be a part of that because, like I said, I was very lucky to get this job, and I'm a homebody. I particularly was scared to leave home, and I still am. So I want to make this opportunity for other students, you know, because they don't want to go to Jacksonville or Atlanta or L
Yeah.
wherever. And that's the thing is that's the same thing for the companies though, is the cost of living is cheaper here. So it's
Mm-hmm.
easier for a company to pay per diem for a whole crew in Georgia than it is to pay for them in California.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
to mention, Georgia has one of the biggest tax incentives for
Mhm.
film. I don't know if you've ever seen a film with the Georgia peach at the end of it, but you can get 20 to
Yeah.
30% on each dollar returned to you by the IRS if you spend over $500,000 and you film it in rural Georgia, which is huge. So like that's a huge incentive, but it's not being taken advantage of anywhere below, you know, anywhere near South Georgia. So that's what we're trying to
Mhm.
take advantage of, and that's what all that whole road show was about. It's really crazy. If you look at the pictures, I was actually dressed up as a doorman. I was letting people into their cars and stuff. We partnered with a lot of people. We do a lot of economic development. Something like this, just what I tell people is in film, like you could try to tell me right now any job that doesn't have to do with film, and I can probably tell you a way that it has to do with film or film sets or you know what I'm saying, something to do like
Mhm.
that. So this is huge for a place like this, South Georgia, that needs this. So
When
basically,
when are they saying it should be done?
the thing that's really weird right now is like I think they haven't broke ground yet. So
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is once they start that movie, I think that they want to accomplish filming the Northern Lights first, which
Okay.
bring in a lot of revenue. I'm not sure exactly. There's a weird timescape because they have a lot of the blueprints and stuff ready, but there's so much going on that that's what I'm saying. Like even with this whole thing, it's up in the air because there's strikes, there's all this stuff going on. Like they're going on an
Mhm.
AI fix right now. So they're trying to do a lot of AI stuff. We're trying to get grants for like a mobile story trailer.
Oh, okay.
We also have a sound bank. We also have, I forgot to mention, we have something called a sound bank where they're turning an old historic bank into a sound recording studio, like a Foley
Oh.
studio, and it's really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to be a part of that. So all these partnerships that we do, though, it's the most important thing. It's huge. There's so much money that's made that's not even behind the camera, or like, you know what I'm saying? So that roadshow event was really big. To that we expected maybe like 500 people max. It got to like 700 people. That event was like
Wow.
crazy. One of the biggest events that I feel like Valdosta has seen in a while. It was very, very nice. It was very, very upscale, but it was really cool. So yeah, that was a nice event that I got to take part of. I'm not gonna lie, it was very exhausting though. It was very challenging for our team. We had a few hiccups and a few road bumps, but that's okay. You know, that's part of the
Yeah.
process.
So,
But yeah,
do you think, like, if you look at the South Georgia, because now, like, Valdosta equipments are like smaller towns that doesn't get as many visitors, like, for example, Atlanta, that's huge in Georgia. So, do you think for the future, like, this could bring, of course, more jobs for the people there, but maybe also like make it more known for the people to travel there? Do you think it's something that's gonna make the cost of the living maybe go higher there, that it's gonna raise the towns and cities in the South Georgia, like the whole studios that's gonna be bringing there?
that's a good question. I would say I would definitely expect an influx of money and stuff like that. But the cost of living is already kind of at a state where it's already kind of volatile. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of
That's
going up
true.
already. But of all the places to be, Georgia is probably one of the best in terms of cost of living. One of the best. But
Yeah,
Georgia's still coming up in a few places. Like the minimum wage is still, the federal minimum wage. But I don't know I don't know if you're in Georgia right now or where you're at back home or wherever, but South Georgia, I don't know about South Georgia as a whole, but I know there's Thomasville, there's a few other smaller places in South Georgia that are kind of doing their thing, but I know that Valdosta has been like slowly expanding in small ways that are
mm-hmm.
like at me as a Valdosta native has noticed. It's even if it's just like, for example, I mean, like there's a new Wingstop, a new like this, a new franchise, like people taking risks to open their business. So I don't think we're the only one that's kind of contributing to that. But I think that the influx of money and industry and like it will bring more of what Valdosta needs. Like, because South Georgia doesn't really have a major like concert venue. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
And like I said,
exactly.
I don't know what the largest budgeted film for South Georgia is, but it would be cool to see something monumental come out of South Georgia and be like, yo, that was filmed here in South Georgia, especially in this movie about a football team in Alaska
Hmm.
because they have a really magical way of doing that. But I think they found like a similar field in Florida that looks similar to it, so they can film there. But I don't think it'll affect as much as we think. I think it'll propel us more into the trajectory that we're already going.
Good. Well, that's good for the
Yeah,
city,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. So just at the end, do you have any recommendations or any advice for the people that might be still in college or high school thinking about going into the media world that you could tell them maybe what they could do even during their college career, something that you learned in the college career or after graduating, getting this job that could help them? I think very good point is already like you mentioned your story after graduating college you were keeping with this job
Right,
until they
right,
hired you and like you were trying your best to get the job in your field
right.
and you didn't just sit at home and didn't do nothing.
Right. I would say I have one or two things. Let me make sure I have them right. So, one, make sure you're not doing something for money. I think that's a big one that people forget about. Two,
Mm.
you're going to have to work with people you don't want to work with. Don't let someone ruin your passion. Be very careful about that. I'll expand on that in a second. Three, it is okay to work smarter and not harder, but don't intentionally take that easy way out because it'll end up being harder. And if you just go the regular route, you'll be prepared for whatever. And I can speak from experience, but the most importantly, I say in generally, don't do something for money because it's going to come down to your passion. And if you can't do it for you and your passion, then it's not going to work. Two, sometimes in the media world, people are going to upset you. People are really mean. People are harsh. You can't let someone ruin something as beautiful as your passion. That's very important, a very valuable thing. You can't let someone ruin your passion. Three, don't take the easy route. I tried it once. It ended up actually being harder. And one of the only things I learned, and this is in reference to my capstone project, my senior project, I tried to take the easy way out, and it ended up harder. And if I would have just done it the regular way, it probably would have been easier. So whatever
Hmm.
you want to call the easy route, you know what I'm saying? Just watch
It
out for
might
that.
seems harder
But
at the beginning, but it
right,
might be easier at the
right,
end.
yeah. So don't doubt your capabilities, pretty much.
That's a good point. All right,
Yeah.
man. Thank you so much for sharing this. I think it's very interesting and good points that you shared.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Thank you for watching this episode. Please share it with your friends, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you at the next video.